I can feel it like it's right in my neck. Run!
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Dear new Akali, your win rate's way too out of touch. Things look quite scary, and I think your champ is truly fucked. But I should tell you that it's gonna be alright when every retard stops with ainting with you each night. Whew! Jesus Christ, guys. I'm looking at the win rate of this champion and oh boy. It's just something else, isn't it? I had a really strong suspicion that this would be the case when Akali was released, and I know I can already hear the people saying, it's only been 1 week since Akali was released, you can't make any comments about her win rate yet. And you know what, you're right. I entirely agree with you, and hell, I can even faintly hear in the distance too, a very subtle, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Damn, where did that come from? But no, seriously, I entirely agree with you. A champion win rate is always, and I mean always, going to be screwed up when they are first released, and only very rarely does a champion hit release and end up in a truly balanced state of hovering around that 50% win rate region, or hell, even forbidden that, actually a higher than 50% win rate, and that tends to only really happen on incredibly overtuned characters like Xin Zhao when he was first released back in 2010. He was probably the scariest thing I've ever seen of a launch character in League of Legends, maybe ever, apart from like maybe Zoe or something, I don't know. And there was Ornn, who was pretty overtuned, probably owed to the fact that his kit was incredibly simple anyway, and we were in the middle of a tank meta, so it kind of made sense that the tankiest boy this side of the Mississippi, who also happened to have a basically map-wide AoE knock-up, was going to perform pretty well under those conditions. But Christ, 39%! That's something else. To clarify just how bad a position this is to be in right now, the literally only character that has a lower win rate in the entire game right now is support Nunu. And you probably know the reason for that position. It is because basically anybody who gets that role and takes Nunu is likely just to be an auto-filled champion who is trolling and inting and running it down mid like it's going out of style.
施錠をしたとはいえ、こんな古い木の扉なんて簡単に破られるだろうな。
So this is a bit of a panic situation, right? It's definitely a failure to launch, and this is straight up some serious Mayday! Mayday! We've royally screwed the pooch on this one, lads. I repeat, the pooch has been screwed with the infinity dildo. But what are Reddit saying about this champion? Like, what is the consensus? Okay, Shroud is the worst ability in the game to play against. Fair enough. It's hard to play with, and it's a little bit hard to get used to. Okay, I get it. Why is Sustain a part of new Akali's kit? I mean, she literally doesn't heal half as much as old Akali. Like, old Akali healed like every 4 seconds. New Akali can only heal at like, what, 180 energy? It's really not that bad. How could Akali make it live in this sorry state of uselessness? Okay, well, let's read this. Let's read this post. I just played her for the first time and fed. Well, there is your problem, surely. I guarantee you wouldn't be saying that if you went 11 and fucking 0. And herein lies the problem of everything. Akali is like fun to play. There's some kind of things about her that I'd like to see changed about her slightly, mostly just being a reduction on her E range slightly and an increase on her Q range. But mostly, that's just kind of personal preference. I think Akali is tuned pretty okay. Faker has been clapping ass in solo queue with her, and I think her numbers are pretty much okay, besides a couple of tweaks. It's certainly not 39% win rate levels of like bad statistics. And I have been playing an awful lot of ranked solo queue, like Jesus, I must play like 10 to 15 games a day at least, and I've been dealing with Akalis pretty often, but it hasn't really been all that bad. I mean, I've been blown up by her pretty hard, but at the same time, if you walk into the smoky donut of death as an AD carry that I know the Akali with 6 kills is in, well, you're kind of buttering up your asshole at that point and throwing yourself into the alligator pit, so it's hard to really comment on her being overpowered at that point. But the thing is, and this is a really, really big problem, Akali is fun to play, but she is actually kind of hard. Like, no lie, if you're good at Akali, I don't know how you do it, first of all, because despite the fact that I love flipping around the map like I'm Rock Lee and I've finally taken off the ankle weights, I ultimately have no idea what the hell it is I'm actually trying to do to be effective. I cannot effectively use my Shroud, and I mostly use it to just run away or escape from botched tower dives while praying that the enemy Ziggs doesn't drop an ulti that will cover my entire Shroud in fiery nuclear death. But it's just this one thing that I'm worried about, and I'm scared that we're going to have another Ryze on our hands. Now, if you don't know much about the lore of the Ryze reworks, Ryze has the lowest win rate in mid lane, only beaten out by Akali's rework, funnily enough. In the hands of the average player, or hell, even like Platinum and above into Diamond, he is not an optimal pick. You are probably, if you see a Ryze in like Diamond or below, the chances are you're not really going to have the best game on your hands. Now, of course, magic does happen, but statistically speaking, you're probably far more likely to have the Ryze in. But the thing is, in pro play, this champion is completely broken. Like, it's so broken that the reason that they nerfed Ryze so hard is because they need to kill the champion, because it doesn't really matter how many stats they take away. In pro play, he was just still so prevalent, he was still so, like, strong, and if they don't bone his numbers, his intense mobility when he's slamming Q after Q into enemies' faces whilst being able to instantly transmission his entire team into or away from big fights, like instantaneous snares and all of that stuff. Like, hell, when he used to be able to get free escapes out of fights by using the Zhonya's Hourglass alongside his ultimate, like, that is a recipe for some trouble. He was just far too strong in competitive play, and as a result, Riot nerfed him so hard. They just nerfed him to the absolute ground, trying to stop pros from completely destroying competitive games with this character. And this is kind of the problem with really high skill cap champions that I think might happen, or might end up happening, to Akali. I know it probably sounds totally stupid that I'm worried about this, but you would be surprised how easy it is to hit a mark on an enemy and restrain yourself from going in, no matter what the circumstances are. So my issue is, Akali is fun to play, she's got a really high skill cap, which is great for people who want to, like, really perfect their mechanics. She's very, very versatile. I don't think she really has too many really bad matchups, although, like, I can imagine, like, Ziggs and Zyras and stuff being very... Any major AoE is probably a bit of a mess for her. But if she's playing top lane, I don't think she has too many bad matchups in top lane. But the thing is, I don't want this to be a thing where, Faker is kicking ass with her right now in solo queue, right? So if she ends up being played in competitive play, and she actually starts doing really well, she might see a nerf, which is insane considering the win rate that she currently has. But depending on how pros take to her, and I mean, they're not going to probably play her anytime soon because she does take some learning. I don't know. I think it's just hilarious that a champion with such a low win rate could actually end up being nerfed if she is actually too strong in the hands of pro players, because that is exactly what happened to Ryze, and it can happen to any champion. Like Cassiopeia, she's a very high skill cap champion. She has seen nerfs before, just because regular players, their APM is not even remotely high enough to deal with this character. Like, they do not have the 200 IQ required to play Cassiopeia to the right level with which she really needs to actually succeed. Because if she was played to that level, then everybody who played her would be, challenger. And that's pretty much the case. But yeah, it's hard for me to really make comments on the actual base numbers. I've spoken to some people and they think that her base damage is pretty okay. Like, they think that Akali is actually, statistic-wise, alright for a champion. Actually quite strong. But the thing is, you know, she is doing not so great right now because people don't know how to play her. But the thing is, and the final point I'll make is that I want to say, despite this, I urge you not to be disheartened by her win rate. I know that there's a lot of players and they piss me off to no end every single time. You've probably seen them in your solo queue games. You get into a lobby, you pick a champion, and then a player will say, that champion is not top tier. That champion has got a very poor win rate. You shouldn't play that champion. And if I could line them all up in a big, massive 3-mile row and just take my hand across all of their faces for being a pain in my ass, I definitely would, and I know you guys would too. But seriously, buried beneath those statistics, there is still a fun, mechanically rewarding champion that you could probably carry every game with if you practice long enough. Right now, people are banning her because they don't want her on their team, or they just can't be asked with people feeding on it. Learn. This is a good chance for you to learn a really high skill cap champion if you've been thinking about it, and wait for everybody to forget that Akali even exists, and then just come out with the pounding, bro. That's all you have to do. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, what do you think about Akali? Like, if you've actually deep dived into her statistics and found out whether or not she's actually got good base damage, I mean, I've spoken to some people and I've done some googling to find out, there's tier lists of like the champions right now, patch by patch. People are ranking Akali pretty high, if not in the highest tier right now, with that win rate. Which clearly, these people are better at analyzing this stuff than me, because I'm sure there's like diamond to challenger analysts who do these things. But yeah, what do you think about her? Like, what's your experience with her? And do you agree with me and that she is very strong, but she just takes some learning? But let me know in the comment section down below. While you're down there, if you could like the video and subscribe. And that is why the most fun champion in the game right now has got the lowest win rate. Take care, guys. See you later.